What's up, guys? Welcome back to this episode of the Road to Redemption podcast. I'm, as always, your host, Cam Williamson, and you are at the right podcast if you need someone who's about to do some redemption telling stories, because your boy had a doozy, man. 5 years, almost. It would have been 5 years in October, right? I stopped drinking almost 5 years ago. I never considered myself to be an alcoholic. I always just figured it was something I did in my young age, and I never properly was able to handle it. When one is never one. And that's what happened. I thought for half a millisecond that I was going to be able to have one, and within 2 hours, I was 14 some deep, and just in really bad way. I was getting sick, and I probably gave myself alcohol poisoning. I, had to go to the ER. Most of you guys, if you follow me on Instagram, saw that little deal. And it's been a pretty miserable week, to be very honest. I have a lot of people who, especially on social media, who have been sending me a lot of messages, loving stuff, support, saying stuff like, hey, it's not like you lost those 5 years. You still have 5 years sober. You just messed up one day. And that kind of stuff makes you feel better. But this one, and maybe it's because a lot has been going on lately in my own personal life and stuff. I've lost my grandfather recently, who's like the patriarch of my family, and I got to see his story end. Everyone in my life is getting older. My kids, me. And I fucked up because I promised a lot of people, and I gave them my word that I wouldn't do that again. And everyone wanted to know why, what made you relapse, what made you do this. And I think I answered that the short version, which is, just a momentary second of thinking that I had something under control, because like I said, I never wanted to identify as an alcoholic. I thought I just was too young to handle it at the time that I was, and had I ever given it a chance again, I would have been fine. Well, I proved to myself that that's not the case, but there's still more diving to do there. And that's where we're going to talk. And this is going to be really hard, because this is probably going to be the most honest and vulnerable podcast I've ever had, man. I mean, guys, I've had to face some shit this last week that I never thought. Fuck this. I'm not going to keep fucking with this camera. You guys can listen to it on audio. You don't need to see me anyway. I never thought that I would be where I am today in life in general. I didn't think I would still be alive, honestly. I figured at some point one of my antics would have taken me out. And guys, I've done so much in my life. Out of pain, out of suffering, from things that happened when I was real young, Some of it was, preteen, 12, 13 years old. And, I never dealt with it. And then, the clock for me, thankfully, never stopped. And my life kept going. And I had to choose, sometimes on the daily, to keep going one more day. Just keep staying alive one more day. Because if I do that, maybe there will be hope. That one day that pain would go away. And I, for years, forgot, what some of the causes of the pains were. I forgot who I was at certain points in my life and what makes me who I am, I guess is a fair way to say that. And in the process of doing all these things, I have developed a lot of painful coping mechanisms. I'm a tough guy to be around. I am not happy. A lot of people who are all over social media, especially talking about mental health, they want to talk about how to get happy, how to become happy when you are not. I want to give a quick message to my younger listeners, if there's any out there. I'd say 14 and above. 12, probably. You guys grow up fast these days. Pay attention to what you do every day, every second, every hour of your life. Pay attention to it. Don't just go through it because you think that there's something better the next day, or something better is coming, or that thing, will one day happen, or maybe you're in a similar situation as me, and your common way of thinking is, well, nothing good will ever happen to me. Stop thinking that way too, because you don't, in the end, know how the universe works. None of us do. Guys, I never thought I would be sitting here making this episode again, talking about how I, but I have a lot of really hard stuff, that I've got to do and that I've got to go through, and it's fucking scary, because I've been saying this a lot the past couple days. I feel like somewhere in my life I died. My true self died. And I got stuck in this purgatory type state where I had to still figure out what my afterlife was going to look like. And I've always been very hyper aware of every situation I'm in. And I understand the importance of every word, every body language movement. I understand what people are trying to say when they're not saying the things they don't want to. And I know when people are hurting over things that they don't talk about. And I know what true pain looks like. And I've caused a lot of really true pain to a lot of people. A lot in my life. I have gone through life constantly trying to figure out, with everything that happened in my life, based off, the foundation that I came from. I always thought, like, what was the closest I was going to be able to get to a good life being the way I am? And never being able to truly know what it feels like to have lived my life. Because, like I said, I feel like I died years ago. And I feel like I walk through every day as somebody else. And lately, I feel the divide is very clear. between who I am and who I try to be a lot of the time. And if I'm being honest, it's because I feel like that if I know, if I was to ever truly be myself, and if I was to ever I don't know, be happy, I would continue to do what I've always done, which is hurt people. And in the past, I've justified my actions by saying it all came from pain and it all came from suffering and it all came from being rejected, neglected, abandoned, abused, traumatized, you fucking name it. Straight up suffering, dude. And I have always said, especially somewhere around 2014, something inside me said, if you don't at least go start chasing this thing called life, but you might as well pack this shit up. Like, you might as well just, let's make it quick, dude. One to the temple, let's fucking roll, dude. Because this ain't no way to do it. And I went and got help when I started thinking like that. But it came at another time when I drank again. I started drinking again to try to figure out why are people as human beings, why are we allowed to fuck our lives up so bad and do things and do such permanent damage to people's lives, especially like kids? Like, as I'm a dad and one of my kids lives in Indiana, I don't see her a lot. And for years, I just made excuses. Yeah, whatever, this is this and that. And some of the details are what they are. But the thing that I don't ever get people to just sit in silence with is that's my life. And that's not going to change. It's not anybody else's life. There's no one else that's my kid's dad. And there's no one else that loves the way that I love and loves the people that I love and it would do anything for. And in this game of life where nothing is fair, I can't do anything about it. And when I drank the other day and I was sobering up in the hospital feeling bad and, whatever, I feel like for the first time my soul came back into my body a little bit. But now I feel like a corpse of my former self walking around. That person, that thing that I thought I always had to be, and all these expectations that I put on myself and all the decisions I've made to please other people, it has led me straight to a life of constantly trying to convince myself that this shit's all worth it. My kids save my life on a daily basis. Guys, a lot of things and life are not fucking fair. They are not fucking fair. And let me make this very clear. And I hope it is, because I've said it twice now. My younger folks, you can fuck your life up so bad. Permanent fucking damage to yourself. And everything in your future. If you are not constantly aware of what you are doing. Why you are doing it. And what the fuck is the point? And I need you to hear me, because it's not just with drinking. It's with everything. It's with fucking everything. I, as a kid, for whatever the reason being, I never cared about the things other people cared about. I was never enticed to the life of the 9 to 5 bullshit, in my opinion, not to offend anyone. That was never a way that I was ever going to be happy. And I'm sure there's people listening to this going, you selfish son of a bitch. It's all about you being fucking happy. It's all about you being happy. Well, I can understand where some people might say that. But guys, we don't always get to choose like our mindsets that we have. Right? Like there's real illness out there that plagues people. And the shit is dark, son. A lot. And guys, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, your boy's not, it's not okay. Like, I'm not. I have loved so hard through my whole life, trying to constantly fill some void or fix some treatment that I never feel I got or deserved or whatever. And in doing that, I continued to try to love people the best that I could and choose to believe the good in people and believe that a positive future is something that can happen for me. And I'm always constantly reminded that nothing will ever be exactly the way I want it to be. It can't. It's physically not possible. People can't come back from the dead that we know of. What is that in the human experience? Why are we so aware of this shit? Why? And, I have people that advise me, therapists and stuff, that go, you always ask them with the why stuff. It's like, yeah, but like, why can't we ask these questions? Why do we have to just skip over stuff all the fucking time? Everything is, you just let it go. It's in the past. It's in the past. We don't talk about that. What the fuck? Why? We're human beings, and we've evolved to the point of you can fucking beep, boop, boop, whatever the fuck you want. You talk to whoever you want. Do whatever the fuck you want. Watch any movie. I don't care. You can do whatever on these phones. But you're telling me we're not at a point in life where we can talk about the fact that shit sucks a lot. And sometimes it's not just a fucking Tony Robbins tape and a can-do attitude that turns shit around for people. People are dealt a really fucking dick hand in life sometimes, guys. Dick. Fucked from Jump Street. Right? And I truly believe this, if you don't have someone like Mike Tyson had for him when he was like 15 to come in your life and damn near hypnotize you and to make you some creature of or some master of something and really hone your ability to take control of your life early and maintain that, which I've never really seen anyone do that well. But we don't ever talk about, like, I've done a lot of talking about ending life. But why don't we talk about, like, the fact that it's gonna end? And why don't we deserve to be happy all the time? I fucking read this thing today, and it said a fisherman was sitting in his boat smoking a pipe, and another fisherman came up to him and goes, "What are you doing? You're just laying there smoking a pipe. Why don't you go out and fish?" And he goes, "I've caught all the fish I need to catch for today." And he goes, "It's early still. You can go out and catch more." He goes, "What the fuck do I need to do that for?" And he's like, "Well, you'd be able to sell them and make more money." He goes, "I have enough money. What the fuck I need more money for?" He's like, "Well, I'd be able to sit and, you'd be able to sit and enjoy your life." He goes, "What do you think I was doing before you walked up here?" And some people are wired that way. Some people have no interest in just moseying along until I turn 60 years old and die the guy that couldn't get his shit together. Because I've always felt like I'm going to leave a pretty big legacy on this earth. That's just me being honest as well. I'm terrified every day because I don't know whether it's going to be good or bad. And in my current state, I feel like I've got more strikes against me than honorable mentions. So if they were to close my book today, your boy's done some damage, dog. I've, I got kids that are going to grow up and they're going to suffer inevitably because I'm not going to be around. That's a fact. That's a fact. Because I'm not there every single day. My kids, one of my kids, doesn't see their dad every single day. That's been her whole life that she's ever known. We don't even know what the ramifications are going to be of that, but we know that it's not good to see your dad 2 days a month. And we could go ahead and start talking about like how certain relationships never even should have happened. Then this situation wouldn't be what it is. But you don't get to do that. Not in life. You don't get a backup button. We don't get any buttons in this shit. There's no manual. There's no handbook. There's no fucking standard operating procedures on this fuckhead thing called life that we all live in every day. You just get to stumble and mumble and tumble your fucking way through it and pray to God you don't do something so idiotic that you fucking kill yourself or waste this one chance that you're given. But then we get here and we're told, well, hey, every day that you're here, you should be working for all these things, whether you care about them or not. And if you don't, convince yourself you do. And just try to be as happy as possible. That's what we're doing in today's day and age. Everybody's putting on a fucking facade. Everybody's waking up in the morning, putting on their fucking avatars so people don't see the damage that's underneath. Because we don't fucking talk about it. Because if you do talk about it, you're going to hurt people. It's going to hurt people. And there is no part of me that wants to continue hurting anyone. I just don't want to hurt anymore either, you know? I've lived a very long feeling 29 years, and every day has felt like a slow burn. Happiness is not a definitive thing, right? I can see people and be happy, you know? I can hear, a baby's laugh and be happy. I'm not a monster. But I want you guys, whoever's still listening to this bullshit, I want you to think. When was the last time you were legitimately happy? Happy. Happy. Not allowed to be happy. Not doing something that kind of makes you happy. Not settling for this one thing because it's what you got. Not half-assing anything in your day, your life, a moment. If you were going full tilt, everything you wanted, what would that look like? What would your perfect fucking life look like? You don't tell me. I'm not asking you to write this in the comments. You should smash the thumbs up button and subscribe if you got anything from this. Just fucking check that block real quick. Can't say he's not good at his job, folks. Yeah. Yeah, man. Fuck. And guys, this is something I've never said, but I've always known. I don't know if I'm ever going to be okay. But I feel like Noah in the ark, essentially. I'm trying to stay out of my own way. I'm trying to change and do things differently than what I've done the last 11 years, 12 years, whatever. The time that I lost myself, you know? The time I went away, when legit Cam, checked out and hit the road because life was too painful to deal with. That person died. That was a dude, man. I mean, had a lot of shit that I cared about and ideas and ways I saw my life going. And I'm 30 years old almost. And I still don't know what the fuck I did wrong to deserve feeling like I feel all the time. Because I just wasn't able to see the big picture. I wasn't able to be mature enough and see everything for what it is, exactly what the fuck it is. No filters of societal norms, no nothing. I've always been someone who deep down believes every human being on this earth deserves to be truly happy. Truly. Guys, we don't know when this thing ends. We just know it could end at any second for any one of us. And we don't know what the fuck happens afterwards. I feel like I've lived 100 lifetimes in this one. So maybe it's just constant fucking reincarnating with yourself and you just get to live life 1,000 different ways. Maybe at some point you get to fucking pick one, and because I feel like nothing ever really stabilizes in life. Everything's chaos all the time. We just act like it isn't. We come up with funny ass slogans. It is what it is. Fucking, what are you gonna do? This too shall pass. All this kind of stuff. But what about the stuff that doesn't pass? What about that? We just don't talk about it. We just tuck it down. It's too difficult to deal with, and I don't have the answers, guys. I'm sorry. And I'll apologize for that because I acted like I did for a long time. I convinced myself that I knew what the fuck was going on with this whole life thing and that I was figuring it out. I can tell you, I haven't. And I don't know shit. I think anybody, Cash, stop. Sorry, my dog's having a dream and she's being loud behind the camera. Cash, stop. Good Lord. If I can give you guys anything, I hope it's I can at least give you a list of things not to fucking do. And I would like to, again, just one more time. If you can be presently aware in every moment of your life and understand that it is such a fleeting thing, yes, but also there is longevity to it for most of us. I'm grateful to be here 30 years, as painful as it's been. I don't know anything other than this experience that's been my life that I know of. I'm grateful for it. But like I said in the beginning, I'm very aware of every situation around me. And I know what life is. I've felt the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. I think there's something to be said for people that constantly are in their own head. What else is there? Honestly, it's what we live with every single second of every single day. It's what we perceive everything from. So if your mind is constantly trying to tell you something or is constantly trying to get your attention and you have to medicate to the point of exhaustion, literal, trying to put yourself in a fucking coma just to try to get 2 to 3 hours of sleep, well, what are we doing? And that's what the answer in today's world is. Here, take these little pills and they'll make you feel better and you'll nod right off to sleep. And guess what? They're designed long enough to get in your system and fucking work and then turn against you. Take just long enough for you to fuck your life over. Not saying I fucked my life over. I didn't. Everything was fine. But I don't get to run from shit anymore. I gotta face this fucking shit. And it's up to me. Like it always has been. It's what it is for all of us. You decide what your tomorrow is going to look like, and you know you do. You know it for a fact. You've never experienced something that you haven't seen yourself already doing. And you know this. You had to have seen it in your mind first before you actually experienced it. Why do you think surprises are not something that most people like? It's not the way my life was supposed to go. I didn't expect that. Oh my God. accidents, you know. We don't like being thrown off course. We don't like our routines being messed with. We don't like uncomfort and pain, and that's who we are as human beings. And somewhere along the lines, we convinced ourselves that we have to stop that. We have that wanting, I'm not saying it all seconds of every day, but wanting to be a happy human being and live your life the way you see fit. And that could be unique to each person, each family, each whatever, because nobody's life is the same. I mean, I have a crazy situation. But I, for years, beat myself up for the fact that, like, my daughter would never grow up with me in the house 7 days a week. But I told myself, like, what, I'm supposed to stay with this person and do this when there's nothing here? What good am I doing my kid? So I feel like I justified my actions by leaving in the moment. And I knew that it would cause pain to her in her life because I come from a divorced family as well. But knowing what I knew at the time, which is all I can know, I was, younger, a couple years younger. I knew that I didn't want my kids to see their dad suffer the way I saw my dad and my mom and other people in my life. Because it was what it was. And nothing was spoken about. Nothing was talked about. Nothing was ever discussed or worked through. It was always massive explosions lead to either silent treatments or acting like things didn't happen. Dealing with stuff wasn't in anybody's arsenal back then. Dealing with stuff is still a relatively new concept to the mainstream world. Most people just justify the lives that they live of covering down all their pains and woes and just trying to keep on keeping on. Well, I can tell you there's some of us that aren't so able to do that. But one day at a time. That's what they say. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and sign off for the day. I love you very much, and I'm sorry for anyone I may have let down. Or anyone that sees that in the future I may not be someone worthy of hitching your wagon to. Well, hey, man, I get it. I get it. Trust me. I love you guys very much. I hope you know how much I love you. I do all this for you. So, yeah. See you guys later.